prerequisites for spiritual life. Then we were talking about sadhana chatushtaya, the quartet of qualifications. 4. What are they? This is the big question you should not ask. Huh?
Vivek, Vairagya, Mukshitva,
Huh.
Samadhi Sampatti.
Wow. Viveka, Vairagya, Samadhi, Shatka, Sampatti and Mumukshutva. What is Viveka? Nitya, Viveka means Nitya, Anitya, Vastu, Viveka. What is real and what is not real. What is permanent and what is not permanent. The discernment. Earlier on in English, the word was discrimination. So if you see the older texts, you will find discrimination. Viveka means discrimination. So now in English, discrimination has a negative connotation. If you say discrimination, oh, discriminating on the basis of color. So you call a person black, immediately there is a case, a suit filed against you. So discrimination, you cannot even call a woman nowadays. That is the proper legal. You should not say a woman. So chairperson, not chairman. So discrimination. So now in scriptures when they are translated, we use the word discernment. That is the correct English word. Discernment means to actually see, to evaluate, to measure, to understand. So you have this and you have this. How do you know what is water? A sane person will not say that this is water. Insane people we are not interested in. And this, a sane person will say this is water. Huh? It is not mineral water. You see, this is again a big thing. Earlier on, companies used to write mineral water, and some good Samaritan like you made a public interest litigation and then it was changed. Now you cannot. It's Bisleri with added minerals. As far as I know, there are only very few companies who really produce. This Himalayan is one, and it is pretty costly. So mineral water this is purified water or pure drinking water. Whatever, but the idea is not how do you know this is water, so you actually evaluate. Your eyes get two scenes, two pictures, and you know this is a presenter or a remote and this is water or bottled water. This is called discernment. On a very gross level, I gave you an example. Similarly, you have to do different kind of discernment, whether I should eat it or not, whether this has got calories or not. This is a huge discernment nowadays going on. How many calories? And then whether you should do this work or not, whether this is truth or not. Very few people do this kind of discernment. No, you talk anything, sab chalega. So discernment is that nitya anitya vastu vivekaha. You should know what is permanent and what is impermanent. We always do that. If you think, oh, why should I do all this? Vedanta asks me to do all this. Then even in the material world, you always do that. How? When you go for some purchase, any purchase, you see whether the thing is durable or not. You see, relatively more permanent. You always see, you don't go for flimsy things. That's why they say China products are all, Chinese products are all. So somebody was telling me the other day, Maharaj, अभी चांदनी चौक दिल्ली में Chinese product का भी बना लेते हैं duplicate. So we are very advanced, reverse engineering.
There is some national assumptions also to discriminate things, because we see is a water bottle and we assume that we have been given some water. It may not be like that, but we are not tasting it, but we are assuming something.
Yeah, these are all different levels of discernment. You are right. These are various levels of discernment. But all these things form part of discernment. But what I am telling is, it is not that discernment is only in Vedanta, or this discernment of permanent and impermanent is there only in Vedanta. Even when we purchase an ordinary product, say toothbrush, you actually check and see whether it is durable. Toot to nahi jayega. So there itself you start the discernment of permanent and impermanent. Only it's in a more material plane, grosser plane, but still you do that. What Vedanta asks you is to increase your ambit, increase the scope of this discernment. So every time you start doing it, when you see something, you say, yeah, this also will perish, this also will go away. No? You see this also will go away. So if you start discerning like this, you see life becomes very simpler and happier also. Because most of the things will go away. So kya? And soul is eternal, you see. That is why Indians don't bother about time. Because we are beyond time. Now the question is, how do you do this? Now this Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka has to be done. How do you do that? Or who does this? That is the question. And so Upanishad gives us an example. It gives us an imagery of who does it or how we do it. How? It is called the chariot example. The Ratha, imagery of the chariot. So what is the imagery? So now who has seen a chariot? We don't see chariots. We see chariots only in mythological stories. What is chariot? Okay, don't say chariot, say nano.
Sometime back that Swamiji's temple came here.
Huh.
So that was a chariot. Jagannath chariot.
Oh, yeah. No, there were no horses. Only stationary horses. So chariot, you can say nano. Nano is a chariot, modern version of chariot. Atmanam Rathinam Viddhi. Viddhi? No. No Atmanam Rathinam Viddhi, or regard. Atma, the self. Who is Atma? Who is the Atma? Huh? अरे कम से कम बोलने के लिए तो बोल दीजिए. छत गिर नहीं जाएगा सर पर. You are the Atma. Nothing will happen. You see, we will not have tsunami, we will not have earthquake, nothing. You just tell it, nothing will happen. We are all so afraid of saying that. You are the Atma. But we tell so many things to other people. Hey, idiot, fool, stupid, he may not be any of those. But you say without even thinking. So just say, you are the Atman. You are the Atman. You should say, you just say once and see how much power you get. Even by just uttering it once, you are the Atman. Just say. Louder. And what is Atman? Sat Chit Ananda Swarupa. Existence, it always remains. Sat. Chit, conscious, always conscious. And Ananda Swarupa. Remember that next time you become dejected and morose. Sat Chit Ananda Swarupa. So, I am the volume. Once again. Yes. So this you remember. Don't try to go in pursuit of self somewhere outside of yourself. We will see in Kathopanishad, Paranchi Khani Vetrinat Swayambhuhu, Parang Pashyatina Antaratman, Kaschid Dhiraha, what? Avritta Chakshuhu. So you turn your search inwards. So Atmanam Rathinam Viddhi. So the Atma is the driver of the chariot or the nano. Now Professor Mandal brought me here in a nano. So he was the driver. No? Atma is the driver. Then Shariram Rathamevatu. And what is the chariot? What is the chariot? Body. So Atma is the charioteer. Master of the chariot, not charioteer, master of the chariot. Oh, there are two things. One is the master of, first of all, we should understand what is the chariot. Very few people may know it because historically redundant now it is. So, what is a chariot? Chariot has two wheels. There are various kinds of chariot. The one which you saw in B.R. Chopra's Mahabharata is a different chariot. The one which you will see in Greek mythology is a different chariot. So, how many of you have seen Ben-Hur? Okay. So that all these there is a classical chariot scene in that. So all these chariots are there, but all chariots have some things in common. That is, two wheels will be there. The body, minimum. That's what minimum. Correct. Driven by horse or something. Driven by horse. Mostly driven by horse. Chariot. Then there will be a person who is driving, chauffeur or the charioteer, sarathi, but that person is not the owner. That's very important. Another person who is sitting in the chariot, that person is the owner. And then there are the horses, then there is the bridle, means the reins, lagam, ghode ki lagam, no? So these are the things. And then there is the road on which the chariot goes. It may be a muddy road, or there may be no road, or the path in which it goes. Here, Atmanam Rathinam, chariot, the owner of the chariot is the self, Atma. And Shariram Rathamevatu, and the body is the chariot. Body is the chariot. Buddhim tu Sarathim Viddhi. What does this charioteer does? Charioteer actually drives. So, we have a driver in our ashrama. You tell him to go to some place, he will go. But by default, that's a manufacturing defect. By default, he will take the longest route possible. And when you see that he is going on a divergent route, then you have to tell, brother, you please. And because he has a wonderful temper also, so if you tell it in a harsh tone, then he will get upset. So you have to very cajolingly, coaxing ways that, brother, I think there is some problem, we go this side. So he will not immediately listen to what you say. He has a 10-point explanation program, why he has taken this route, etc., because there is no traffic, etc. He will tell that even on a Sunday or a national holiday when there is no traffic at all anywhere. So what I am telling you is, the owner of the chariot is there, but charioteer decides where the chariot will go. See? Charioteer decides where the chariot will go. So there should be proper communication between the owner and the charioteer. Buddhim tu saratim viddhi. So you are not brain. Here again we come to a big difference in Indian psychology, if I can call that, or Indian traditional psychology and the Western psychology. According to Western psychology, whatever happens is just a chemical reaction in your brain. So you love somebody, chemical reaction. You are angry on someone, chemical reaction. You like Alfonso. How many of you don't like Alfonso? Oh. All of you like Alfonso. Huh?
Alfonso mango.
Huh? Acha? What is this? You mean Kolkata? On the line, I should give you all Alfonso treat. That somebody has not tasted Alfonso is a very sad thing, no?
No, you can ask the person who is present, who tasted Alfonso. I think.
How many have you have actually eaten Alfonso? You have not taken Alfonso mango? Mango, Alfonso. Alfonso is a type of mango. So how many of you have not eaten Alfonso mango? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Baba, okay, 6. Very pathetic, huh? So anyway, tomorrow I am going to Mumbai. I will try to bring something. I don't know whether they... Can you bring mangoes in flight? Let me see. Now they have luggage thing, they have reduced only 15 kilos. After some time they will include the weight of the passenger also, I think. So possible. So buddhim tu sarathim viddhi. So you see, why did we go to Alfonso?
Talking about the Indian tradition, the Western Indian.
So if you take Alfonso mango, you like Alfonso mango, that is also a chemical reaction in your brain. Anything and everything is a chemical reaction in your brain. Some particular neurons fire, some synaptic something happens, and this is what. That is Western psychology. But Indian psychology says no. There is a subtle form of your body, and that is mind. Antakarana they call it, which is what is Antakarana? In Bengali mon. Mana, buddhi, all confusion avoided, Sanskrit. Mana, buddhi, ahankara, chitta. So chitta is the plane where you have all these impressions and all memory and everything. Mind and ahankara, ego, buddhi, intellect. So you see, all these things are in your antakarana, which is a very subtle body. So buddhi is not brain again. Buddhi does not mean brain. So that is why you have this reincarnation or rebirth theory where you keep on coming again and again, unless of course you are liberated. So this buddhi is the charioteer, sarathi, and mind is pragraham evacha. Pragraham is the word, evacha, it is an emphasis on that word. It says that, Upanishad says that yes, mind is the bridle or the rein, control. So if your mind is out of control, everything is out of control. In Tamil, how many of you know Tamil? How many of you have mother tongue as Tamil? Manam pona pokile kal pogalama. Have you heard this song? It's an old song, film song. So can the legs, feet go in the direction of the mind? Your mind, you see, you are sitting here and you are going to San Francisco or somewhere else, Hollywood or some place, Mars, whatever. So mind can travel everywhere. Time travel also it can do. Mana pragraham evacha. And that is why probably the Upanishad is stressing, emphasizing that yes, mind is the control. So mind should be controlled. What is the shloka in Bhagavad Gita? What happens if the mind goes out of control? What is the shloka? Completely out of context. That is how, what is mind? Means mind will take you up and mind will take you down. Mind is your enemy and mind is your friend. I am not asking you that. I am asking you, there is a shloka in Bhagavad Gita where it says what happens when mind goes out of control. Yes, Professor?
I cannot tell it in Sanskrit, but in English, the mind, if the mind is attached to the senses, then you will be attracted to external objects. And then
that is the psychology of the mind. Huh? That is the psychology of the mind. 62 and 63 shloka number, second chapter. I have discussed it so many times here. I am not talking about that. Dhyayato vishayan pumsah. That no, I am not talking about that. What happens when the mind goes out of control? Vayur navam imam bhasi. Have you heard this shloka? Huh?
Definitely have heard, but
Vayur nava iva ambasi means it is like a boat caught in a cyclone. What happened to Titanic? It was not caught in cyclone, it hit the iceberg. No? So what is that? Huh? What is that? When a mind goes out of control, when a mind starts to act or wander according to your own wishes or according to its own ideas, according to the desires, then this happens, shipwreck. That is what happens. It's a shipwreck. Shipwreck. Vayur nava iva ambasi. In the ocean, if there is a ship which has faced shipwreck, what will happen? It will be floating. It will lose its direction. The steer, that's what ship technology. Steer, no? It will lose it.
Ship without
Radar.
it will keep drifting.
Drifting. So the drifting. How many of you know this? What is his name? Harry Belafonte. How many of you heard him? You heard him?
A record,
Yeah, of course not. He was long back. Man Piyaba. So, my father was an old drifter. Have you heard this? There are many versions of that song, and it's a wonderful song. You can have, listen to it in the internet. He says, you see, my father was a drifter. I used to call him an old drifter. Haha, he laughs. And then he says, Man Piyaba. You don't know the song? It's a very humorous song. He says, when I was a lad of 3'3", certain questions occurred to me. So I asked my father quite seriously to tell me the story about the bird and bee. He said, he stammered and stuttered pathetically, and this is what he told me, you see. He said, Man Piyaba and the woman Piyaba, and it goes like that. It's a very humorous song, but it is also kind of bordering on the philosophical. Anyway, so the idea is drifter, old drifter. For that expression I went to Harry Belafonte. Old drifter. So you start drifting, no? Here and there. That's what happens in our life. Vayur nava iva ambasi. That is why probably the Upanishad says, pragraham evacha, manah pragraham evacha. It is the mind, definitely. Verily, that is the translation used, but verily nowadays nobody understands. It's a kind of Victorian English. Verily, mind is the control. Then, next mantra. Oh, this is called the bridle, no? Rain or pragraham, this, and these are the wheels, you know, like it is. I heard there is a Polish joke that in Poland every milk, okay, this has got, many of the films nowadays start with nothing in this film is intended to harm any particular community, blah blah blah, disclaimer. Now I say that milk bottle, at the bottom of the milk bottle, here it is written, the cap is on the other side. So if I show this and say wheels, so it is something like that. Anyway, this is some Garuda Paki or something, and okay, so it need not be horse always, and this is so in this, which place is what is this? No, mind. And what is this? Atma. This is the owner of the chariot. And what is this? So who is the Sarathi? Buddhi, intellect. Intellect is the Sarathi. Okay. So we saw Atma. And what is this? What is the chariot? Shariram. So this is the imagery. That is the problem. That is the problem. It is the main problem and the problem. Because most of the times the Buddhi is blissfully unaware that it is the Atman. Is it not? What happens in our day-to-day lives? We are unaware that we are the Atman. We think we are this body and mind. Actually, Buddhi and Atman, you see, you have to always understand, litmus test, you have to always understand that there is only one reality. Because of ignorance, the division comes. So there is nothing called Buddhi, there is nothing called mind, nothing is there. Only Brahman is there or Atman is there. But mind is not aware of that because of ignorance, you see. Brahman plus ignorance is equal to universe. So because of ignorance your mind is created. Because of ignorance buddhi is created. Because of ignorance chitta is created. Because of ignorance ahankara is created. Is it clear? If ignorance was not there, then buddhi will not be there and atma alone will be there. There is a book by Swami Atulananda, who was a non-Indian, and he was the only non-Indian first non-Indian Ramakrishna Mission monk to stay till death in India. So he wrote a book called Atman Alone Abides. Now it is in out of print, but it's available over the net. I think you can download. Atman alone abides. So actually Atman alone abides. There is only one reality, Atman. Because of ignorance we forget. So this is the imagery.
But there is no communication between Atman and Buddhi, because all decisions are taken by Buddhi itself. Atman does not interfere, because it is indifferent to God.
No, so that is why it is an example. In Sanskrit there is a phrase called Udaharana Ekadeshi. Example is given to emphasize some particular point. What is being told by this example is not that the communication in that sense or in the usual sense of the term there should be there, but awareness. If the buddhi knows, has the knowledge that it is the Atman, then there will be no problem. That is what is being told here. Because you see, Atman, why it will communicate? Because with whom will it communicate? The question will be, with whom will Atman communicate? There is nothing else. Dvitiyat vai bhayam bhavati. You remember this Brihadaranyaka Upanishad statement. So wherever duality is there all this fear, love, anger comes. But with whom will Atman communicate? But why then the Upanishad says, to give us this idea that through this example, that yes, buddhi does not understand its true nature. Like ahankara. These are all attributes of a person caused by ignorance. Like sharira. You are asking of buddhi, but even sharira. Is sharira, why is there is no chariot, there is no sharira. Sharira is just a ignorance. If you read Mandukya Upanishad, Karika, Gaudapada, he says everything is just a figment of your imagination. Nothing exists. See, Ajatavada it is called. Ajatavada. The theory of unborn. Ajata. Nothing is born. Next.
It seems that Atma knows the destination, how to reach that destination, but depending upon the Sarati and Rath, etc., he either fails or succeeds.
No. That is the point which he is also telling. You see, if you say Atma knows the destination, then again there will be a person. There is a person who knows there is something which has to be known. No. This is just an example, an imagery, an illustration to drive home the point. But Atma is all knowing and only Atma is there. There is no destination. If you read inspired talks by Swami Vivekananda, he says, do not seek. He says, do not seek, realize. He says, do not seek, realize. So if you seek Atman, it will be kind of wrong expression. How can you seek something which you are yourself? Suppose I say, our Somnath ji is there, I say, you please seek Somnath. So you will say you are a mad person. You are telling Somnath himself to find Somnath. So like that, how can Atman seek Atman? It is impossible. So don't seek, just realize yourself.
Then we stand to get the moksha.
Moksha again, these are all very important things, good that you are discussing. Moksha again is a very dualistic concept. It is a way of Upanishad or the scriptures to tell you that you have to remove your ignorance. You understand it that way, it will be clear. You don't get anything. You actually remove the ignorance.
Whose ignorance?
Your ignorance.
Your means something. Mind. No, mind. It is definitely not.
No. Ignorance which is covering the Atman. The knowledge of Atman.
Then someone is trying to get the ignorance removed. to remove the ignorance. That is the Atma's destination.
Here, that mind has the ignorance, mind is trying to.
Mind is not Atma, mind is something
Mind,
material.
when mind removes the ignorance, the mind becomes Atma.
So
It must be Atma is up to something.
how shall I tell? It is like a self-destruct program. No, you see that so much in Hollywood movies nowadays. Self-destruct program. No, there is a program which destructs itself, destroys itself, like that.
What are you doing?
Ignorance, using elements of ignorance, you overcome ignorance. You study Upanishad. How do you study? Using your buddhi and mind. And then what do? You overcome buddhi and mind. It's very paradoxical, or
Actually, this ignorance is not the kind of ignorance in general way
Mhm.
we use.
this
That kind of ignorance.
no.
So yeah.
This ignorance,
In that way, then it will be
Uh-huh.
a destination to reach.
no, this ignorance is not like I don't know what is this.
It's not that.
I don't know what is this. You tell me that this is Bisleri water. So that my ignorance is removed. No, this is not like that.
It is not that.
Actually, here ignorance or elements of ignorance will remove ignorance. That's why I said self-destructing program. Because mind will remove ignorance. Mind will go, ignorance will go, everything go, and what remains is Atman.
Swamiji,
ওই যে কাঁটা দিয়ে কাঁটা তুলে